All right, so here's another cheap hammer battle report. This time it's going to be another AI battle report, and I got the chance of playing lizardmen against the Empire. Now I have perfected a little bit the random flow of how to create lists and how to randomly deploy on the battlefield to a certain extent that I can just have the units, just randomly deploy the units, and furthermore, just having a couple of choices after it, not so much randomness. Like, for example, um, the hero placement, wherever it's more convenient. Like, the Slan Mage Priest goes perfectly with the Temple Guard, just as well as, for example, some maybe your Sauro Soul Blood or your Scar Veteran goes better with a melee unit. Maybe they can go in a same unit, to create a super melee and magic synergy. Some assailment spells and some stuff like that. That will be a good combo. And the Skiing Priest can go with a unit of skirmishers, or can go alone. You can just arm him maybe with something that gives him the fly ability, and then he just can just take an advantage position and throw some magical spells or vortexes against the enemy. Whatever works. And using the arcane vassal, like ability, you can also throw a couple of spells from the slant to him. So that's uh, that's that's part of what in the flow of creating the lists, the part that you can still have some management, but the rest of it, the way that I constructed the flow process with the same AI. But the first thing that I did is actually just I took the PDF books. Of course, you gotta buy them. Buy the books. Buy the electronic books. Don't be cheap. And it's good because you support as well the hobby. Though Game of Worker is a pretty a pretty uh, big company, but it's their intellectual property, so you gotta respect it. However, what I did is I just took the PDFs and then I feed them sorry, to the AI, and it could digest and create small text of compressed information to compound all the rules and everything. Also, I just gave them the errata and the updates and and the questions that people have. Though the questions are meaningless, but the errata was important. So I just say, here's the errata about the book. So make a couple of changes or make the pertinent changes and just give me the highlights. So I gave me the highlights back so I could understand what were the major changes. But once you just like use these AIs to complement your game flow, it would just go so smooth, and it's like a third, like a referee or a judge that can help you also like overview the battles, not taking away the possibility that it's also a player. So that makes it, as I said before, there's nothing like quite like the experience of playing against somebody else. But some people, sometimes it's very difficult to get like an opponent, a community, things like that. Maybe you're busy, maybe you have a family, and maybe you can't get together with the community to keep playing Warhammer, and you really wanted to use your miniatures. Believe me, it just works for me. I mean, it works so much for me that the last two battles, so this sorry, this battle report and the next one, I both of them I lost. So though I think this one is the 2,500 points, and the 2,000 points I lost. The 500 points and the 1,000 points I won, but there were some inconsistencies over there. But now that the rules have been crafted perfectly, I don't know. The machine has like some. Of course, I'm going to explain further more in detail how to perfect it and how to make it useful. But that's the first thing, you just feed it to the algorithm and tell them to make a small text, like a compressed file where you can have all the compendium of rules, and save it over there in a file, so you can just have it and just feed it to the AI whenever you want to play, so it has its rules fresh and ready to go. Then the other one is like use the PDFs also of Forces of Evil. That's the Ravaging Hordes, and the other one was like the Forces of Fantasy, or maybe you got a Legacy Army, so just download the Legacy Armies from the community of Warhammer, feed it to that thing, and say like make a compendium of the units and everything, like rules and everything. So make a small text. Then the third one is make a list of all the physical models that you have of this army. Let's say you got 10 units of 5 units of ghouls. So you got 5 units of 10 ghouls each, make those distinctions. And also making it's important that you also highlight what kind of or what type of miniature they are, of a unit they are. If they are core, the most important if they are core, rare, etc. That's important because the rest can be done by the algorithm. And then comes the random uh, list build. Well, I named it the random list builder for Warhammer: The Old World because now that you have all these elements, you can easily just ask the computer to just create your list, a random list. And even it has the option of if you have certain biases, so you want to test a couple of more miniatures, so you want to do it a certain way, it could just create your random list that you can enjoy playing with, so you create a random list for him. You just literally just give him the test, make the lists, and just get into the game as quick as possible. So later I will make some links if anybody wants to download this the randomizer that I created. It's basically like it randomizes it respects the whole integral structure of how to create a list, the 25 50 25 25 percent. But of course, it can have a random factor of just like by various examples, or it can give you maybe 50% full special, just minimal infantry, and just the rest of it, just a bunch of heroes. It can give you as much rare and as much and everything on just core and just one hero, so it can just do a lot of things. And also it assigns the magic items, so it has a random factor in which it has a buffer zone. I made it at 20% of the list as a buffer zone for magical items, so it can easily give you some good boosters over there, but it can also fall into a category of 10% that it gives you some really stupid items that it really doesn't help you. But that's the chance, it's like a chaos factor in which it can land you with a magical item on a melee warrior, so it really just doesn't help or doesn't need justice. But that's the whole process, and I will be linking the way to just input the information later for free, so that anybody can use it if you so wish. You know. Anyway, so let's get into the game. So pretty much what I have is 2,500 points of lizardmen against the Empire. So these are the units that we use. So I had 2 units of skin skirmishers with blowpipes and 1 with javelins, 5 jungle swarms, 2 units of Core 1 riders, 1 unit of 11 Saurus warriors, 1 unit of 10 Saurus warriors, 1 unit of 18 Saurus warriors, unit of 10 temple guard, slan mage priest, a skink priest accompanying the skinks with javelins, and a Saurus Oblblood accompanying the unit of 18 Saurus warriors. Then he sold this 2 great cannons. Oh, by the way, my Saurus, my Slan Mage Priest has high magic. I think I traded one of his spells for Monsoon. Not sure. I think I did. And he has high magic. My Skin Priest has elementalism, and his mage had illusion. All of them generated randomly. So his list is pretty much just 2 great cannons, 1 Luminarch of Hish with its special rules implemented in the game, 1 Steam Tank, 1 Hellblaster Volley Gun, 1 Mortar, 1 unit of 6 Knights of the White Wolf, 1 unit of 10 Archers, 1 unit of 20 Swordsmen accompanied by Arc Lector of Sigmar, One unit of 10 crossbowmen, one unit of 30 halberdiers, veteran state troops, accompanied by a captain with a battle standard bearer, and a unit of handgunners. So, without further ado, let's go to the next picture. So before I go into the turn number one of the battle, I want to explain one thing. I'm working in a process also to perfect the way to randomize deployments and with the units. So pretty much what I've used with my. By the way, this is the last battle in this battleground. It has already had 4 encounters, so I think that's pretty good. Um, I'm going to change it to something else for the next battle reports. So yeah, so how do I do this, or how do I explain to the machine how to deploy its units in a random order? Well, first what I do is with some dice, like as you can see by this picture, there's a line of yellow dice in the middle, and it's delimiting the middle of the map. Then there's 2 lines of pink dice. Those ones are exemplifying where is the deployment zone, obviously behind the pink dice. Right now I haven't been playing any match games, so it's just pure just battling, and taking territory. That's it, just killing units. So pink dice and behind deployment zone, and then you can see another line of dice, that are a little more separate. Now the yellow transparent dice is where the lizardmen deploy. So what I did is like I divided the deployment zone in 6 quadrants. Each quadrant I assign one face of the dice from 1 to 6. So what I did, and it's more or less, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it kind of gives you an idea. And the good thing about this AI is that you keep showing the pictures, and it can detect if maybe some of the things didn't quite land or didn't quite look the way that he intended them to be. So what you can do is like trial and repetition, trial and repeat. Just keep doing it and repeating until you get the best formation, or a formation that the AI thinks is best, so that you can start playing with as much randomness in the game as possible. I think it's the most fair and fun way of playing the game, the unknown. Anyway, so once you have those quadrants, what you have to do is just like give me a list, and it has to be a list that is not, how can I put it? It's not reactive to the other list, to the other deployment. It has to be a deployment that is not reactive to the other deployment. It has to be completely random, So like you can escape, or you can just hold units that have obviously special abilities, like for example scouts and things like that. You deploy them later. But why do I mean not reactive deployment? Reactive deployment is like you set one miniature and the other guy sets perfectly the perfect miniature just to counter that one. So when you get a non-reactive deployment, it's just you get deployments in difficult zones, and it gives that also that factor of unknown when it came to real battles. Like you really don't know how the other guys are going to be formed, even with spies and things like that. Anyway, so that the way that I worked it is like you got to divide it in 6 quadrants. So what you do with those 6 quadrants, you just start asking the AI, I want you to give me a list of every single one of the units in the list, except heroes, of course, and things like that, and scouts. And I want you to tell me in what quadrant are they going to be. Of course, give it the measurements. My table, for example, is 180 centimeters times 120. So once you delimit the middle, the deployment zone, and all those measurements, and roughly the surface area of each quadrant, it will understand perfectly, or a little bit more, on how to space them. And because it also has the basic rules and extracts, it knows roughly the size of each unit. So of each unit, like 10 swordsmen is like so many millimeters or so many centimeters of surface area. So you start asking them, simple things like, okay, give me a non-reactive deployment, or just give me a random deployment of all these units based on the quadrant, and if it's going to be it's going to be center, left, or right of the quadrant, and in the half, front half, or back of the quadrant, so it will just give you roughly where the units have to be. So you start positioning them the best way possible, or the way that they fit. And if you got gaps, obviously you can ask him and give him the options of the gaps that you have available of the quadrants, and it will give you a random deployment and some choices what you can do, you know. So you end up doing that, then you set up your heroes, and then you get your scouts on reserve, and that would be pretty much it. So that's how I work a certain flow when you have to do a deployment with these random factors. All right, so this is turn number one. So what I did is like I popped my scouts from the right side, 12 blowpipes, so they can just um, pop out, move, and just shoot their blowpipes at the cannon and just take it out. I advance the Cold One Riders to the front, advance the Temple Guard, advance the 2 unit of Soros Warriors over there, and the other one stays a little bit in the corner. And now what I did on the other side is just I moved my skinks and my swarms behind that terrain feature, and the Cold One Riders on the left side. I just pull them like a little bit to the back, you know, just to keep them away from the shots or the reactive or all the activity from over there from all his units. So I put them over there just to negate the Hellblaster, just in case it was going to move, and also avoid the Sun Gun because it just does too much damage, and also the crossbows and everything, just to cover myself, you know, because I don't want to start the game just losing units. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And my strategy was pretty much just probably just start beating the steam tank, which later on it kind of worked, but at the end, well, I was not that lucky, you know. So like target the steam tank, maybe anvil it with the swarms, and then just like hammer it maybe with some strong unit, maybe because I had plague of rust, maybe just chip a little bit more of its armor. Because the steam tank, the good thing, and the way that you break it is that you hit it directly to wound. So there's no process of just hitting it. So it's like if you get enough armor piercing, you can really, with the sixes, you can really put some damage into it, you know, like with the Temple Guard and Plague of Rust. The Temple Guard already has halberds, that's -1. Then they got Obsidian Blades, that's another -1. So you're chipping already 2 points from their armor save, which is 3 plus. They're already saving at fives. And if you put Plague of Rust, they not save at all. So it's like they lose 3, they lose 4, they lose 5, they lose 6. So you know, if you get like a good amount of sixes, you can put some real damage into the steam tank. You know. So there's ways to destroy it, but it requires a certain synergies. You know, but it's destroyable. So that was basically my idea further on in the game, but later on you will see why that didn't work. But anyway, just like move everything to the front, no charges, and just trying to put a little bit of pressure over there in the right side. All right, so here's another cheap hammer battle report. This time it's going to be another AI battle report, and I got the chance of playing lizardmen against the Empire. Now I have perfected a little bit the random flow of how to create lists and how to randomly deploy on the battlefield to a certain extent that I can just have the units, just randomly deploy the units, and furthermore just having a couple of choices after it, not so much randomness. Like for example, um, the hero placement wherever it's more convenient, like the slan mage priest goes perfectly with the temple guard, just as well as for example some, maybe your Sauron Soul Blood or your Scar Veteran goes better with a melee unit. Maybe they can go in a same unit, you know, to create a super melee and magic synergy. Some assailment spells and some stuff like that. That will be a good combo. And the skiing priest can go with a unit of skirmishers, or can go alone. You can just arm him maybe with something that gives him the fly ability, and then he just can just take an advantage position and throw some magical spells or vortexes against the enemy. Whatever works. And using the arcane vassal, like ability, you can also throw a couple of spells from the slant to him. So that's uh, that's that's part of what in the flow of creating the lists, the part that you can still have some management, but the rest of it, the way that I constructed the flow process with the same AI. But the first thing that I did is actually just I took the PDF books. Of course, you gotta buy them. Buy the books. Buy the electronic books. Don't be cheap. And it's good because you support as well the hobby. Though Game Worker is a pretty a pretty uh, big company, but it's their intellectual property, so you gotta respect it. However, what I did is I just took the PDFs and then I feed them sorry, to the AI, and it could digest and create small text of compressed information to compound all the rules and everything. Also, I just gave them the errata and the updates and and the questions that people have. Though the questions are meaningless, but the errata was important. So I just say, here's the errata about the book. So make a couple of changes or make the pertinent changes and just give me the highlights. So he gave me the highlights back so I could understand what were the major changes. But once you just like use these AIs to complement your game flow, it will just go so smooth, and it's like a third, like a referee or a judge that can help you also like overview the battles, not taking away the possibility that it's also a player. So that makes it, as I said before, there's nothing like quite like the experience of playing against somebody else. But some people, sometimes it's very difficult to get like an opponent, a community, things like that. Maybe you're busy, maybe you have a family, and maybe you can get together with the community to keep playing Warhammer, and you really wanted to use your miniatures. Believe me, it just works for me. I mean, it works so much for me that the last two battles, so this sorry, this battle report and the next one, I both of them I lost. So though I think this one is the 2,500 points, and the 2,000 points I lost. The 500 points and the 1,000 points I won, but there were some inconsistencies over there. But now that the rules have been crafted perfectly, I don't know. The machine has like some. Of course, I'm going to explain further more in detail how to perfect it and how to make it useful. But that's the first thing, you just feed it to the algorithm and tell them to make a small text, like a compressed file where you can have all the compendium of rules and save it over there in a file, so you can just have it and just feed it to the AI whenever you want to play, so it has its rules fresh and ready to go. Then the other one is like use the PDFs also of Forces of Evil. That's the Ravaging Hordes, and the other one was like the Forces of Fantasy, or maybe you got a Legacy Army, so just download the Legacy Armies from the community of Warhammer, feed it to that thing and say like make a compendium of the units and everything, like rules and everything, so make a small text. Then the third one is make a list of all the physical models that you have of this army. Let's say you got 10 units of 5 units of ghouls, so you got 5 units of 10 ghouls each. Make those distinctions, and also making it's important that you also highlight what kind of or what type of miniature they are, of a unit they are. If they are core, the most important, if they are core, rare, etc. That's important because the rest can be done by the algorithm. And then comes the random list build. Well, I named it the random list builder for Warhammer: The Old World because now that you have all these elements, you can easily just ask the computer to just create your list, a random list. And even it has the option of, if you have certain biases, so you want to test a couple of more miniatures, so you want to do it a certain way, it could just create your random list that you can enjoy playing with. So you create a random list for him. You just literally just give him the test, make the lists, and just get into the game as quick as possible. So later I will make some links if anybody wants to download this the randomizer that I created. It's basically like it randomizes it respects the whole integral structure of how to create a list, the 25 50 25 25 percent. But of course, it can have a random factor of just like by various examples, or it can give you maybe 50% full special, just minimal infantry, and just the rest of it, just a bunch of heroes. It can give you as much rare and as much and everything on just core and just one hero, so it can just do a lot of things. And also it assigns the magic items, so it has a random factor in which it has a buffer zone. I made it at 20% of the list as a buffer zone for magical items, so it can easily give you some good boosters over there, but it can also fall into a category of 10% that it gives you some really stupid items that it really doesn't help you. But that's the chance, it's like a chaos factor in which it can land you with a magical item on a melee warrior. So it really just doesn't help or does any justice. But that's the whole process, and I will be linking the way to just input the information later for free, so that anybody can use it if you so wish. You know. Anyway, so let's get into the game. So pretty much what I have is 2,500 points of lizardmen against the Empire. So these are the units that we use. So I had 2 units of skin skirmishers with blowpipes and 1 with javelins, 5 jungle swarms, 2 units of Core 1 riders, 1 unit of 11 Saurus warriors, 1 unit of 10 Saurus warriors, 1 unit of 18 Saurus warriors, unit of 10 temple guard, slan mage priest, a skin priest accompanying the skinks with javelins, and a Saurus Old Blood accompanying the unit of 18 Saurus warriors. Then he sold these 2 great cannons. Oh, by the way, my Saurus, my Slan Mage Priest has high magic. I think I traded one of his spells for Monsoon. Not sure. I think I did. And he has high magic. My Skin Priest has elementalism, and his mage had illusion. All of them generated randomly. So his list is pretty much just 2 great cannons, 1 Luminarch of Hish with its special rules implemented in the game, 1 Steam Tank, 1 Hellblaster Volley Gun, 1 Mortar, 1 unit of 6 Knights of the White Wolf, 1 unit of 10 Archers, 1 unit of 20 Swordsmen, accompanied by a Arc Lector of Sigmar, 1 unit of 10 Crossbowmen, 1 unit of 30 Halberdiers, Veteran State Troops, accompanied by a Captain Battles with a Battle Standard Bearer, and a unit of Handgunners. So, without further ado, let's go to the next picture. Alright, so this is the next picture. We're entering the next turn. I managed to cast, I don't remember if it was like Empire turn 2 or Lizardman turn 2. I think it was Lizardman turn 2, doesn't matter. I managed to cast Fury of Cain on my unit of Go 1 Riders and kill all the Knights of the White Wolf. So now what I'm going to try to do is just keep that Saurus Go 1 Rider just alive, just to negate half of the points to him, because it's not going to do much damage over there. Advance the unit of Saurus Warriors. I cast a Monsoon over there. If you can see it in front of the 20 swordsmen with the arc lector of Sigmar. I managed to cast a Monsoon over there, which later on I realized what a terrible, terrible spell that was. What a terrible choice of spell that was. But my idea was pretty much to negate that Steam Tank any passage through there. because he cannot see, so he cannot charge if he has to have a line of sight, and also negate the charge for the 20 swordsmen, so that everybody has to pivot around the monsoon. Which later, it was like it caused a little bit of problems, and besides, there were some charges that were illegal later on because they were crossing through the monsoon. And the monsoon stops line of sight, so you cannot declare charges. But, it's just a learning curve. It's part of the learning process, but later on, perfect. It's the first time that I start using like magical vortexes. Most of the times I didn't use them because I had them with wizards that were level 4, but I didn't cast them because you just forgot that you have them. But once I start using the AI, it reminds me of the spells that I got at my disposition, and then I can make more, like more focused strategies into the game. So anyway, my idea is I advance the swarms over there to start targeting the steam tank. So most probably he's just going to charge into my first swarm. So maybe if he doesn't get too much stomp attacks and things like that, maybe he can hold. Probably not. But the whole point is just to stop him on his tracks and just keep him there, while I try to destroy his whole right flank. You know, and negate the left flank, negate whatever is on that side. So that's pretty much it. Let's go to the next picture.
All right, so halfway into the battle report, I decided to change into video mode because it seems like it's a much easier way of conducting the battle reports from now on. Because I don't have to just synchronize images with audio notes and things like that. I can just simplify pretty much just the whole battle and just use my hand to just point on whatever I want to just uh, well highlight or what their strategy is. So anyway, we're entering into, let's see, it is Empire turn 3. Yeah, so my whole strategy, since I'm the one that is using the lizardmen, as you can see from the first pictures, the battle line was over here, is like I move my whole army to this section. The idea is to negate the hail blaster, which is over there, and to negate the shots from this rifleman and the cannon that stands over there. However, and that's why I moved these Cowan riders, the ones that were over there. They just move over here, and I just move this template out of the way. It's as clean as possible. On my dice as well. Too much stuff. There we go. So the whole point was just to try to negate this left side of his troops, which is the artificial intelligence is just keeping him over there. I don't know exactly why. I recommended it a couple of times to just advance, but it says it wants to hold the position, but it moved its crossbowman, as you can see, move its crossbowman over here to try to have more and to have more targets when it comes to my battle line over here. I actually just shuffle all my army like in this direction. If you see, like everything that was over here is just moving in this direction. Now I cast a couple of monsoons as one, and then I cast another one over there. But obviously, it's like they haven't worked or operate how I desired, because they have just been going towards my units, and they haven't been making a lot of wounds when it comes to theirs. Though in the last one, I charged that unit of swordsmen. I charged it with the Soros warriors. I managed to make them give ground, and since they did, they had to pass again through the monsoon. So I'm just making some wounds over there, but I think I'm left with 4 Soros warriors right now. I managed to pin down the steam tank because on the last turns, the thing is, like, I just charged it with one of the swarms to pin it down, which was a mistake, because first it grind me with its wheels, and then in its turn, it grinded with its wheels, or I think he caused impact hits or something like that, so I don't remember. But he destroyed one of my swarms, and then it gave him the chance to use his template gun the steam gun against a lot of my units, and then use his cannon and almost, if he could have successfully land a hit on my slant, could possibly just kill it. But luckily that didn't happen. But so far, I think my strategy has worked. Like these guys are taking refuge over there. Everything is shuffling to this side, so I can just kind of destroy his whole army over here and wait over here, kind of like going like counterclockwise. So just like making him waste his time going over here and just taking as many units as I can over here, because I know that I cannot destroy the steam tank. But for example, I already destroyed the cannon over there, and I destroyed the Knights of the White Wolf. Yeah, of course, he killed also my Soros, my Call One Riders, but I got the cannon. I almost get the archers. So my strategy basically with my scouts is just to go behind the huts and just destroy the mortar and just see how I deal with this over here. Keep that thing pinned and just kill the swordsman and kill everything over here. Just either to make him turn around and try to just like push me into that direction, or just keep him going counterclockwise and making it not possible to chase my most important. All right, so it's going to be Lizardman turn 4. So we got a little bit of danger over here. It's a unit of its big block of halberdiers are moving straight here, trying to put pressure on my units. So I have to make a quick decision of what am I going to do here. I think the best is I'm going to just turn these ones around and maybe keep the skinks over there, so that perhaps when he comes for the charge, I can just take the charge and then just like hit him on the side with the skinks. Because I cannot just move so much. These units are getting blocked by the monsoons and everything. It hasn't worked as I thought it could. That unit of Soros warriors hold, so that's good. So we keep them over there. What else? His Luminarch of Hish, as you can see by how the cannon is pointing, it moved backwards and shifted a little bit to the left and was able to draw a line of sight directly to my unit of Soros warriors, executing 3 of them, instantly vaporizing them. So there was no chance of survival. So that's not good. His cannon, now it's kind of like putting a little bit of pressure on this gap over here, because he has clear line of sight for my skinks. Thankfully, he didn't have like the range to do the damage, but his mortar actually could shoot against my unit of Temple Guard, but he didn't do anything. It scattered a little bit away. So there was effectively, so effectively didn't do any damage. So it's getting a little bit pressured over here. Steam tank killed another one of my swarms, so I don't know if I can hold them for long over there. And the rifleman shoot at my Call One riders and kill 2 of them. Even though that they are at that distance, they managed to kill 2 of them. So I'm feeling a little bit pressure at the moment. I think I can still control the battlefield from here, but I have to use this unit. I have to turn them around and face them and just be ready to take the charge. And maybe I can just create some hits together with my old blood. Maybe I can kill his unit. Who knows? But I can create some hits over here, just take the charge and use my spears and my support attacks to just make the best out of it, and maybe charge him on the flank with the skinks with javelins just to make more damage, and just use this unit. I think I'm going to have to use this unit of Soros warriors, just face them over here, so when that unit of swarms dies, these guys take the heat, and use my Temple Guard to maybe kill this unit and go with the strategy of trying to kill the mortar, trying to get these guys as close as possible so I can kill the mortar. That's about it, as much as I can do. I'm going to try to move these guys away from the shooting range. I think they're open order and then they can cross this forest. But if they're not, yeah, this pivoting is just going to take me over there, and then they're going to be able to shoot me, and that unit's going to be gone. So all the points that I was trying to just save are going to be gone. So, but I managed to chip some wounds into the steam tank, so that's good. So okay, Lizardman turn 4. Okay, so this was Lizardman turn 3. Kind of not good for the Lizardman. The rifleman shoot, killed two of my Soros warriors. Um, but I think that was in the last turn. Sorry. So this was before. I pivoted my unit, so I'm just waiting for the charge to go over there. I pivoted this unit that was like this. I pivoted to this direction. So and I charged the steam tank with my skinks and my skink priest. I wanted to cast Plague of Rust, didn't land, and I wanted to in the first charge that I wanted to do. First, I pivot my unit of Temple Guard, and I tried to charge, and I got like 3 on the charge, so I failed, and I just stay there. So it's terrible. I needed to make or to land those hits on the steam tank, because at this point I'm trying to destroy it or just to keep it to pin it down with whatever I got at this point, because I'm losing the battle over there. So I'll have to see how this distributes or how it goes as it stands right now. But anyway, they failed the charge, and but I decided to charge with the skinks and reposition this unit, because if the skinks die with the skink priest, then I'll just pin it down with the Soros warriors, so what I have left of the Soros warriors and that swarm. So I still have the skinks and the swarm to hold the tank, so it cannot make its templates or nothing. And either this unit or that unit's gonna die, but just gonna hold it there for this turn. Then I still get the charge from the Temple Guard. Over there, I'm down to just one Soros Warrior. Now, if you see over there, I got a dice that says 6 and a dice of 3. That's how I check. That's how I check my wounds. So the transparent dice that you see all over the place, that's just how I allocate the wounds. So yeah, that's just one Soros Warriors. I got a wounds over here, wounds over here, wounds over here. This guy's turn around because it seems like those halberdiers are getting ready to charge. So I might as well just hold the charge, so I can have my first rank, my second rank, my support attacks, and my spears. Just so I can have as many attacks as I can against his unit, and also my call one. So I'm going to hold that there. Probably I'm going to lose this unit over here. I advance the skinks over there. I march them over there so I can go back and perform what I wanted to do, which is to shoot the mortar and kill it. But that will be in the next turn. Over there, I negated the shot from the cannon, so it couldn't land on the skinks. I got them out of the way. The mortar is steering clear. It can still shoot. I think now it cannot. Let me just see. I think it can still shoot my unit of my slan, but everything just stays the same for now. But this is danger zone, so let's see what it can do. All right, so this is Empire turn 4 after his movement. I'm not sure. I think it's very, I don't know where this is going. The monsoons have been a pain in the ass the whole battle. Like, there you got 2 of them. These 2 dices mean that it's the monsoon. And then, of course, I put the template on top, and it has made me check and check and check and check and check dangerous terrains all the time. They just keep going backwards. I was thinking about casting another monsoon. I'm not going to cast any more monsoons. I'm sick of these things because I cannot dispel them. And, of course, why would he dispel them? Since they are just causing damage to my own units, and they're just making rockets to my units and make dangerous terrain checks all the time. So the monsoons are over there. They just move over there. They made me check. Luckily, I didn't have to do any damage. He casted a Prayer of Sigmar, which eliminated my last Soros warrior, killed him, effectively letting his unit be able to charge in the next turn. He charged. He issued a challenge with his Lector of Sigmar, and I had to contest it with my Skink Priest. Otherwise, he would just run the other way, and even though the whole attacks and everything would just kill the whole unit. So I just contested it. He charged his block of 30 halberdiers against my spears. So there's a combat here that is important. And we got a challenge over here. It's my Sorrow Soul Blood against his Captain Battle Standard Bearer. So it's going to be interesting. As I said, I position these guys just to be my last hope of just trying to destroy the tank and seeing what I can do over there. Skinks are over there, probably gonna get shot by the two archers, not such a big problem over there. But skinks are going to be the ones that just like, if I can just get closer, then I can shoot all my darts at the mortar and probably kill it. Hopefully, because I don't want to waste my darts on the archers. I want to waste them on the mortar and then perhaps later on the archers. I gotta get those points. I need those points. Over here, I'm going to get probably blasted by the solar beam because it can still see over everything. So it's gonna blast my unit over here, cause more wounds. It really puts a hurt because it's strength 8, so it puts a hurt, and there's no armor save allowed. So it really hurts units. So in the steam tank, probably he's going to eliminate the 3 remaining skinks, but it's still going to be pinned by the swarm. So either the swarm pins it up or the skinks pins it up. But or maybe it depends on how the combat goes. Maybe the swordsman end up eliminating the skinks. The tank eliminates the swarm, and because it's the most logical flow, why wouldn't he choose it that way? And it's just going to be a massacre from there. So I have maybe I could charge it over here, maybe I could charge it over here and just see if I can just cause enough ones. But I don't know. It just doesn't look good at this point. And those unit of riflemen are going to shoot against my unit of Soros Cold One Riders. They didn't do anything. I should have just moved them to the other way when I had the chance, but I just failed to do it, and I just wasted them over there. Oh, it's so terrible. And now this cannon has opened fire on some of the units over here. Oh, it's gonna be a massacre. Anyway, so that's it for this turn. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is the beginning of Lizardmen turn 5, and it has been a total disaster. Sorry, see my hands? Here you go. Just to point out everything with my measure tape. Here's the thing. The riflemen reform, move 2 inches forward, then they were in range of the Cold One Riders. Boom! Destroy them. The swordsmen charge. Lector issued a challenge on the Skink Priest. Kill him immediately. And the remainder of the skinks were killed by the swordman. I think that was how it went. I think, yeah. The grinding wheels killed the last swarm. So between this guy and those guys, I think something happened that actually killed the skinks that were here. I'm not entirely sure, because there were like 3 skinks, and I think they got killed by something. Because that guy killed the priest, and then something else. I think it was those guys. I think they managed to finish off the rest of the skinks. So they didn't stand a chance. And then the grinding wheels end up killing the swarm. So I got these guys that actually they seem full, but it's just 2 of them. Got the wound dice over there. I got 6 temple guard. I managed to kill his captain with a battle standard bearer, and they fled, and I pursued, but I came short. I was expecting to... They only make 7. I was expecting to destroy them. But maybe they won't rally, and maybe I can get them in this turn. So hopefully that's the case, because I still gotta make my movement. So I'm going to move into them and just destroy them. So maybe I can get these points. I'm going to make all my skinks move over there and blow and use their blowpipes, destroy that thing, the mortar. I'm just gonna focus on destroying the mortar. It's gonna pile them over here and blow against the mortar and destroy it. And then I'm going to try to enchant this unit and just make the charge. Just charge them with the temple guard, charge them with these guys, try to make as much wounds as I can possibly do against this thing, and kill it. If I can destroy the steam tank, kill that unit, and kill the mortar, I think I can overturn it, because right now I'm really low on points. I'm really low in the value points. My death pile is ginormous. We already make the calculation, and I'm losing really bad. So I need this to go through. If I start failing the charges and everything, I lose the game. So let's see what happens. All right, so it's going to start Empire turn 5. And already he got like Prayer of Sigmar, so he has like 6 plus ward save of that unit. He cast the Glittering Robe, so he has like -1 to hit on this thing, which I don't think is gonna even get hit. But major problems over here. I managed to get Fury of Cain, and I managed to just dodge these two monsoons, which just oof, what a pain in the dick they are. But at least they move. This one move that way, and that one move this way. So I didn't have to make a lot of dangerous terrain tests with my Temple Guard. So only 4 of them, and all of the 4 pass. I had to divide the unit. This is already dead. So just 2 of them are actually in charge the steam tank. With all the hits from the Temple Guard, with the Fury of Cain, re-rolling with hatred and everything, I managed to make a quite considerable amount of wounds on the tank. So now he's like 8 wounds in, but I think with the swordsman charging me on the flank, there's only 2 of them there. By the way, there's 6 wounds already, 8 wounds cost in the Temple Guard. So it's only the Temple Guard in this land there. I thought I could pursue and kill this unit, but I rolled a double 1. That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I rolled a double 1. Now they just escaped me. Probably they're going to be able to regroup. I don't know. But it's like, terrible. And if I had gotten like even worse, if I had gotten like something that did not pursue, that could put me in the blasting. Actually, I think, yeah, I'm going to resolve this with the AI. I think I'm already in the shooting range of the Hell Blaster. That's going to be horrible. And of this thing, and probably the spells of that thing. And the mortar probably is going to shoot back at the King Skirmishers, because now I can see it. If those guys can see it, these guys can see it. So it's going to shoot this mortar. I hope it doesn't land a hit. But I think this is going to be the end. With its grinding wheels, it's probably going to end up killing all my stuff. And he has too many units, and this didn't prove to be very effective. So that's pretty much it. Let's see what happens in the next turn. I just realized how dumb am I. And the AI, man, it really can just outplay you, man. It really can hold positions. I am in the in the in the in the perfect position to get blasted by the Hell Blaster, by the Solar Beam, by the casting. I think he has like Mind Racer, so it has another casting thing to throw at my Saurus. These guys are going to probably move or shift. They're gonna shoot, and the guy that didn't land any shot there in the whole battle, the cannon is going to just shoot at my unit as well. Oh my god. It's like everything just turned out terrible for me in the end. And I couldn't kill the steam tank. I couldn't do anything. My rolls were just garbage, complete garbage. And since the skinks with the blowpipes were able to shoot the mortar, well, I guess the mortar is going to be able to shoot back at the skinks. Let's see what happens. All right, so yeah, I decided to call it a game. At this point, it was a complete massacre. And the Solar Beam, plus the Hell Blaster, plus the handgunners. The cannon miraculously didn't manage to do any wounds at the unit. It just shoot and went way off. But they are down to 2 wounds. 2 wounds. They were completely destroyed. So half of the points are going to go to its combat, to its point value. This unit is also probably, since the swordsman with the Lector of Sigmar charged into a unit of Temple Guard, which I have to mention, there's only 2 of them. It's not 10, just 2. They got Fury of Cain and everything, but they got first, they strike first, and this guy is over there, so pretty much they're gonna wipe the Temple Guard. And the only one that's gonna be left is the the slant priest, he only has one attack. I mean, it's not ridiculous. The Zor's warriors won't probably do any damage against the steam tank, and they will just be grinded by the grinding wheels. Mortar actually was in short range, so he couldn't shoot against the skinks. But the skinks would be the only like full unit that will be left, plus the slam, and maybe two Soros warriors over here with the old blood. Aside from that, the whole army has completely tabled. It's unbelievable because at the beginning of the battle, I thought I had it when I destroyed the tank over there. I destroyed the Knights of the White Wolf, but subsequently, the two freaking monsoons were just chipping wounds away from me. It's like I summoned them and they just completely start destroying my army, and they just didn't do what they were supposed to do. They kind of pinned some of the units in position, but apart from that, I couldn't really just like make anything else. And besides, I think there was a couple of things that I didn't do correctly, because the monsoons also cover line of sight and things like that, so I couldn't charge through the monsoons. But hopefully some of the times they actually move away, so I could just have like clear line of sight to charge and everything. But yeah, I mean, like, they were really, really bothering every single time. They were really making a problem for my army, because it's the thing that I casted with my slan, and it just affected my army twice. So it was a terrible, terrible decision. It's a very specific spell, but it has a very specific usage, just to pin the other units or the enemy to just cast it and not get close. You don't want to get close when those things are, because it's just going to. They're so unpredictable. Anyway, and well, the crossbow, man, everything just stayed pretty much in its position. So it was just a grind. It was just my terrible rolls that I did with my charges, with my pursuits, with my magic. It went wrong. Overall, I think I did a good, somewhat a decent job with my strategy. I did the best that I could, taking refuge over here and denying some of the shots from these things. But at the end of the day, my rolls were so bad that I just started getting destroyed by these things. And my strategy to pin this thing and this to destroy the rest of the units could have worked, but my rolls were so bad that literally I just gave him the advantage and the advantage point, so he could just continue destroying every single one of my units. But well, that's going to be it for this battle report.
All right, so just a little bit of closing commentary. Yeah, I mean, it was going pretty good at the beginning. I managed to kill the cannon, managed to kill his knights, everything. But the monsoons, my terrible rules to charge, my terrible rolls overall. Sometimes, I tried to cast Walk Between Worlds a couple of times. It didn't pop once in the battlefield, not once. I mean, like, the Skin Priest is level 1, and he managed to land sometimes Wind Blast and Blight of Rust a couple of times. Like, it could do its job. But I can't believe the level 4 Slan couldn't manage to just land. He barely did like 2 or 3 maybe spells during the whole game. My throws were garbage, and the throws. I mean, like, the level 4 wizard that the AI was using actually managed to make more damage and managed to land a couple of spells, but they were always effective. Or like he whatever it is, had amazing rolls. And on my side, my rolls were terrible. But the whole compact strategy, like, here's the thing, it's like, if you're going to put skinks in the battlefield, make them scouts. I mean, what the hell are you doing? Like, just keeping them as a melee unit. They cannot even chuck the javelins. I think they can, but why would you do that? Just go for the blowpipes, go for the sixes. They got poison ones. Just use that. Make them scouts. And if you're going to use them for another thing, like, if you see that he doesn't have any, let's say, like, any war machines, well, like, if you're going against vampire accounts, well, you can use scouts rules also. You can use the vanguard, so you can put them Depending on how you see the map and the deployment zones, well, you can put them as younger. They just take positions somewhere. They can take positions in a forest. They can take positions maybe a ruin or something like that, so they can get some soft cover or some hard cover, and just you got a platform over there that's just shooting like poison attacks against the enemy. And since they're not moving, they can try to shoot against always against close formation or open order, open formation or close formation units, because you don't get the penalty when you're shooting at skirmishers. If you're gonna go for the war machines, the thing is like they just got 3 wounds, but some of them have the skirmisher rule, so you're shooting while moving, and then at long distance sometimes, and then skirmisher. But it doesn't matter because anyway you want to go for the sixes. The only problem is when they get quick shot, the next ones are seven, so you gotta land the six and then a four to be able to just make the hits, and that's not counting the wounds, you know. But you want to go for those sweet. When it's on sevens, it's pretty much impossible that you're gonna get any of those shots. But with the sixes, you got a pretty much a higher advantage. So, pop out with your scouts, 12 inches in front of them, move as close as possible. They got a movement of 6, so that's good. And then with that, just shoot them immediately. Now, I'm not pretty sure, like, for example, if you can use the Vanguard rule as well. Like, if you pop as a scout and then you move as Vanguard and then you move again, does that count? Is that a thing? I'm not sure about that. I have to ask the AI, because that will put you pretty much just like 1 inch away from the enemy, so you can start making a disaster out of his line, of his deployment line. So yeah, skinks, pretty good unit. Use them, make small compact units that can be flexible, that you can move them around, and then just like hunt some stuff and make some damage in behind. And your battle line, of course, your Soros warriors, Temple Guard, Cold One Riders, all of them, they're equipped with minimum of 2 attacks each. So if you can power them up, maybe with Fury of Cain and things like that, they can really put the damage on the enemy. Their initiative is shit, so they're going to hit last. So just make sure that you equip them with a good shield, and maybe you can have another, maybe a Skink Priest with the battle magic. Maybe you can try to get one spell. Maybe you can try to get what was it, the Oaken Shield. You get one with 5+ ward save. You got a pretty solid unit. You can make some real damage to the enemy. So when you're going to equip your Skink Priest, maybe you can equip them with the Lore Familiar, I think is, or the Arcane Familiar, I'm not sure, but the one that allows you to choose what spells do you want. So if you're gonna go for that combo, just put your Skink Priest behind, put your Slan over there, put your big units of melee together, and just go for the big hits, and the Battle Standard Bearer reroll, which is a great thing, like lizardmen almost never flee from the battlefield. They got the cold blood rule, which they can roll three dices and discard the highest. They got pretty good leadership as well, leadership 8. And if they're with the battle standard bearer, you can re-roll your break test. So it's pretty good, solid. They're solid warriors. Maybe you can accompany them with a Scar veteran and put some magic weapons on them, so they can just put some real damage into the enemy. But like sometimes they fail. And keep your units, maybe the units of Cold One Riders. I see that the best synergy that they can work is just small units that you can put them on the side. They're very tanky, they're very strong, and they have 2 attacks from the mount and 2 attacks from the rider with spears. And at the same time, you got the champion over there. You can put a magic weapon on him. So you can put a little bit more of damage. But on this occasion, well, my throws were horrible. The strategy was well done, but the throws were terrible. Anyway, for the next battle reports, this is going to be the whole concept now. I'm just going to take video, and then allows me to just focus or maybe zoom a little bit so you can see all the scenery and the things that I take, because I take my time to craft my battlefields. It's a visual aspect of the hobby, and it's very important. So this is going to be pretty much it for the next battle reports. It's going to be a still image with the logo and how the deployment looks, and then the rest is going to be video, and then the closing commentary is just going to be still image with a little bit of voice. Anyway, so that's it for this battle report. Hope you like it, and then hope to see you in the next one.